Guide mode on belay plates like the Petzl Reverso is becoming more and more popular these days, and it's understandable why. It allows us to take rope as our seconder follows us up the route, but in the case that they were to take a fall, it has that auto locking feature, which is really, really nice. But what do we do if our climber wants to down climb a section, or maybe they've taken a nasty fall and they need to be lowered to the ground? How can we do that? Because this, in guide mode, it's not going to allow us to lower down our seconder. So let's take a quick look at a couple of ways that we can do that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to tie a catastrophe knot so that we can free up our hands. So let's get a bit of slack. We'll tie a figure of 8 and we can pass a locking carabiner through the figure of 8 bight, and we can place that somewhere higher up on the anchor. Okay, now we can let go with our hands and focus on what we need to do. The next thing we're going to need to do is run our brake strand up through a carabiner somewhere higher on the anchor. Now this step is really important, so make sure you don't forget it. We're then going to tie a prusik onto the brake strand that's coming down from that higher redirect that we've added on the anchor. So let's go ahead and do that. I should mention I'm only using one rope here for the sake of keeping it simple in the demonstration, but this works just as well, if not better, with 2 ropes, because it will actually give your prusik a little bit more to bite onto, so that's fine. We're going to check that our prusik is actually locking up. I can do that by weighting it a little bit and seeing if it locks up on the brake strand, and this one is, so that's great. We can move on to the next step. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a 120 centimeter sling. We're going to girth hitch it to the carabiner that the ropes are running through on our belay plate. If we look here, this is the carabiner that's on the guide mode part of the belay plate, and this is the carabiner that runs through the rope, or the rope runs through. So we've girth hitched our sling onto that, and we're going to run that sling through a carabiner higher up on the anchor and back down to our belay loop, where we're going to connect it with a carabiner. Okay, now being careful to keep my hand on the brake strand, I'm going to remove my catastrophe knot, and I'm going to gently sit my weight back on this sling, and it's going to lift up the belay plate from the carabiner that we've girth hitched to. And as I sit back, I can gently release the tension on my prusik, and it will allow me to lower my seconder. Here's a close-up of what this actually looks like. So you can see our sling girth hitch there. It's running up to the anchor and back down to my belay loop, and I've got my prusik on the brake strand, which is running through a redirect higher up on the anchor as well. This technique is really useful when we're just trying to down climb or maybe lower a couple of meters and then continue climbing, because it allows us to quickly undo everything that we've done here and return to using the belay plate in guide mode. Make sure to follow and subscribe for more videos like this.